What's up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Giddy up. Let's go.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour right here on A2DRadio.com. And tonight, I, Matt Sassuti, along with the broken one, Rob Povia.
North, Miss Tessmacher. North.
And today we are going to go into the NHL entry draft. We're going to review the Flyers draft picks as well. We are going to go down the first round to see what other teams chose that were not the Flyers, because obviously if you've been keeping track, the Flyers traded that first round pick. We'll get into that. We'll definitely be getting into that after that big trade made by Philadelphia there right before the draft began. But besides that, we are the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by Body Check Wellness. They are a line of products using hemp. They are also with edibles, gummies, ointments. They also have THC-free products as well. They're designed for focus and clarity. They are created by former Philadelphia Flyers and Phantoms enforcer, Mr. Riley Cote. And if you use the A2D code, you can get 20% off of your order. And when Riley Cote is on with us, you get 40% off. So use that A2D promo code, get 20% off, and help your life, man. Help get that focus and clarity, because you know what? There's a billion things that can happen at any time. Your life can get thrown into a tailspin. Just walking out the front door or getting something in the mail that says, hey, yo, this much money to so-and-so, and it may bring on a lot of anxiety. This is the kind of stuff that'll help you get through things like that. So, hey, Rob can tell you all about it. It's definitely done him wonders.
Oh, no doubt about it. The focus and clarity, take it every day, really helps me out, keep my head on straight between all the hats I wear, even though I'm not wearing one right now. But right now, if you use promo code CARE, C-A-R-E, you can save 40% off. That's addition to A2Ds. Well, I guess you have to use one or the other. So right now, use CARE to get 40% off. But in general, A2D gets you 20% off.
Absolutely. And today we, of course, have the poll question on here that is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. Listen, man, every once in a while, like life, you get thrown into a tailspin, you need some focus and clarity. Every once in a while, you may suffer an injury, you may pull something, strange something, do a little tweak or what have you, and you need to get that all taken care of, get that fixed up and everything. Dr. Paul Vidal is the guy to do it. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. You could find that and make an appointment, and also go see him in Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey. Brian used them. His shoulder has been perfect since, and they do one hell of a job. So absolutely check them out. And I do believe they were Jersey's number one, I believe, what was it, therapeutic specialist for injuries or what have you. I believe it was an award of that nature. So
South Jersey, absolutely.
Yep. Definitely worth checking them out. So SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. And the Twitter poll question is, the Flyers trade for Rasmus Ristolainen was the worst in team history. Agree or disagree? Rob, what's your opinion on that?
My opinion is I got hate on you for just coming up with this question. Worst in history? So many more worse than this one. And I'm not even saying this one's bad. It was a steep price. Giving up that first-round draft pick, it allowed this entry draft that we'll get into later in the show to really come off lukewarm, when you don't have that flashy first-round pick and, picking in the, upper tier, the upper tank of the NHL. You gave up that pick, but I disagree with this poll. I think getting Rasmus Ristolainen, I said it last season, this was the exact type of player on the D-line that this team needs. A guy that's going to take no bullshit, deliver the hits with reckless abandon. Yes, numbers have been down, but I think you could say that about a lot of people that have played in this Buffalo Sabres system. And coming to the Flyers, I think there's going to be nothing but success for this man. Like I said, it fits a great need along with the other moves that Chuck's made this offseason. I think it's been, so far, an A-plus effort.
Yeah, and the reason why I brought this poll question onto the floor is because everybody and their mother has their personal opinion on this, that what the fuck are the Flyers doing on one side, and the other saying, no, this is subtly a little siggy. This is actually a smart move on their part at the end of the day. And, well, let's just say that you're either on one side of the argument or you're on the other. There is no in the middle on this one. There are people who absolutely shit on this deal, and there are people who say, this isn't a bad deal, really, compared to as bad as people think it is. I mean, but, because analytics are a thing. And listen, I'm not going to shit on analytics. I know a lot of people would say that analytics are either trash or analytics are law. I think that they're an important tool that teams should consider following, considering the fact that there's a lot of teams out there that don't use them all that much, and sometimes they make some stupid mistakes. The Flyers are one of those teams that don't always do that. But I don't think they tell everything. I don't think they tell the story of psychology, where they're playing, what the situation is, like you were saying, Rob. How much of those numbers are his fault, and how many of that is on the ineptitude of Buffalo? Because Buffalo is the most inept team of this 21st century. The only team that rivals them is Arizona. And Florida even has a little bit more dignity than them. And when you're giving Florida dignity, a team that has not been well run for the most part of the 21st century, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
So again, I would say, no, this isn't the worst trade in team history. I mean, yeah, price is the price, but I mean, it's 1 year on his contract anyway, and I know people will jump to but then you give up your first round pick for 1 year. It's like, we didn't give up 2 first rounders. We got our first rounder next year. And honestly, does anybody think Buffalo's going to do anything good with that 13th overall pick? I fucking don't think so. Buffalo can't do anything good with their first overall fucking pick with Jack Eichel. So what the fuck makes you think they're going to make the 13th one work out? So, yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I think that this is fine. Plus, also, we have plenty of D-men that are speedy, fast, and can score. We've got plenty of young D-men like that. We needed a bigger, physical, stay-at-home D-man.
Forwards as well, who you would probably get with that 13th pick. There is a multitude. The prospect pipeline has been built up. So if you're going to trade a first round pick, address a need. And everybody was screaming for this team to improve the defense. Well, they've done it with not 1, not 2, but 3 new D-men that are be coming in, and we'll get into all 3 over the course of the show. But just to touch on something you just said, Maddie, it really hits home for me. It's good to pay attention to the analytics. It's not good. It's necessary. In this day and age, you need to, or you're a dinosaur, and you're going to be left in the back of the pack. But that doesn't mean that they're the end-all, be-all, that you all of a sudden throw the eye test out the window. Those other, psychological factors in a game that's very heady in the game of hockey. You got to employ those as well. And there's a way, and I do it every day in my analysis for both hockey and baseball, that you can adapt the numbers, and then the eye test gives you the final say, because that's, in the end, the sense of the sport.
No, and I agree. And I'm also, too, giving up, on giving a few things here and there again. Some things are a factor of where you're at. Some things are a factor of the environment. It's not all just based on, this number says this number says that. It's like, let's pull it back a little bit. Let's not over panic here, because there were other teams that were willing to give up number 1s for Ristolainen. Flyers weren't the only ones. The Flyers just had the better offer, and they rolled with it. And listen, if Buffalo winds up winning this deal and Ristolainen doesn't do all that well in Philly and he just becomes more of a depth guy, fine. That means we don't have to sign him to a more expensive contract than the one he's got now. We can actually lower the price on him, and it's not that big a deal because there's only 1 year left on that big deal. So it's like it's 1 year left. If he doesn't do as well as he could to that money, just sign him back for lesser money. And in the end of the day, then you don't have to worry about the cap problem too. And again, it's all about we need stay-at-home defense. We need physical D-men just as much as we need the speedsters. We've got them. We needed the physical. We didn't have that. Defense was getting absolutely mauled by other teams last year. Ristolainen is one of those guys who won't allow it to happen. So, again, I think people need to stop pushing the panic button every 5 minutes because they forget how deep this team is because of that bad season. They forget how deep the Flyers actually are. So making this deal isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not like we only had 2 or 3 players on the defensive end, and we traded one of those 2 or 3 defensive players away for a player that's unproven at the NHL level because of how poor he played in Buffalo. So,
no doubt about it. I mean, regardless of good or bad, Matty, one thing he's going to do is people are not going to be able to come into the crease and take advantage of this team, which we saw so much in the 2021 season. He's going to knock their head off. That's the type of player he is, and that's what he's going to bring. And that's something you can bring when you're slumping and when you're not. And people want to put down his numbers, and we could get into the deep analytics, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it right off the cuff just because I happen to have these two right already in the head. He was a -2 and had 40 points on the season. A -2 on a poor Buffalo team, pretty darn good. I get it. It's not ideal, but I expect that to get in the plus column easily if the Flyers are able to, play with these added pieces, what they're capable of. And 40 points, that's a good contribution for a guy that's a stay-at-home defenseman. So that, and still only has one way to go, but up. But to your point, yeah, if he doesn't, improve the play, yeah, you could sign him, keep him for a lower contract or even potentially let him walk because, yeah, you gave up picks, right? But those are unproven commodities right now. We don't know what those are. You know what I mean? So I think it just shows so much flexibility that this team is going to have. I mean, it's light years ahead. We already talked about the Ryan Ellis adage in past shows. That bears repeating. Now everybody gets to shift down a spot now because he could be a true D1 pairing with Proby. And now everybody's all of a sudden playing in the appropriate spot instead of playing one ahead, as we saw Justin Braun being his most popular defensive partner last season. Now you add Ristolainen. We've also added just today Keith Yandle for $900K at an extremely cap-friendly deal. A guy that brings a ton of veteran experience. And as we saw with Nate Prosser during the season, when you bring in a vet, no matter where the skill level is, and yes, Keith Yandle is super long in the tooth, and we've had poor experiences with bringing aging players into Philadelphia. That's not why Chuck brought him in. We could see how a veteran could come in, give that calming presence, clear the zone with certainty, and it just calms everybody around him. And that's what you saw Prosser do. Particularly that one game, and I know you know what I'm talking about. That showed all of a sudden you took a scrambly defense and they played calm and they didn't make the poor pass for the turnover, with the end result being with the puck being in the back of the net.
Absolutely. And by the way, we got the chat popping in here. Will's saying, "What's up, my boys?" What's up, Will's? Prism saying, "Let's get the party started." And he's saying, "What's up, fella?" What's up, Priz? And he goes on to say, disagree to the poll.
Yeah, he was pretty high on the deal for Ristolainen, to the points that we've made, so I'm not surprised to see that.
Yeah, and it's just, again, I think a lot of people who are shitting on this, I don't think they understand, you realize this team is deep, right? You can this is the advantage of having a deep team. You don't have to always get a player that is proven or has the stats to back up a billion different claims of, oh, this is a brilliant deal. Besides, we already got Ryan Ellis anyway, so we got Ryan Ellis, get Keith Yandle, and you have Rasmus Ristolainen. You got two strong defensemen. You got a Ristolainen player who this is a chance for him to play in an organization that seems to be getting its shit back together after having a rough go of it last year. So a new opportunity for him to kind of find a new lease on life. And maybe that's all he needs.
Yeah, and I think it'll be successful for him. I'm pretty confident in it, as a matter of fact. It's just a good setup. It's an AB system's good for him. And yes, you gave up Robert Hogg, and he has shown good play for this Philadelphia Flyers team. I don't want to diminish that. But now it's like, you can't just keep on adding to the defensive pairing, and you had to give up, a player. And if you want to analyze it exactly, yes, we've seen good play from Robert Hogg, but anything you think this team's going to miss, Maddie?
No, I mean, he was in and out of the lineup. So it's kind of like Torensky losing him in the expansion draft. It's like, well, he didn't exactly thrill us when he was here. Hag had some good moments. He had some decent goals here or there. But overall, he had been in the system for a long time, too. People forget he was on the Phantoms for a long time before he came and joined the Flyers full-time. And even then, he didn't play full seasons with the Flyers. So really, it's not the end of the world to lose Hag. But for all the good things he did for us, we salute you, Hag. Hopefully, you have a good run in Buffalo, or if you're a journeyman, you have some good runs down the line with other teams as well. So,
one of my more favorite Flyers, and I do wish him the best in that with any team. Hopefully it works out with the Sabres. Hopefully he can help turn around that organization.
Yeah. And we got Chuck saying, gentlemen, what's going on, Chucks? And Bryce saying Chuck is not playing. No, he is not. He is not.
What we're not seeing was what we were fearful of, Bryce. We were fearful of a GM being comfortable in mediocrity based on his tenure with the Minnesota Wild. I have not seen that. He started a trend with Kevin Hayes, and he did. He could only do as much as he could between the pandemic shortened year and both of the pandemic shortened years, and now you have your first full off season, and he's hitting the ground running. So yeah, he is not playing around.
Nope. Meanwhile, we got Frank saying, hey, yo, it's like I haven't seen you in forever. To answer the poll, I don't know if it has been the worst. We'll wait and see. I do agree that we did overpay for him. So that's on. Yep.
You had to, just to your point, Maddie, there were teams after him. So, I mean, I like, honestly, like this is going to be one of the great moves. Like, just this is, people want this team to get back to the bruiser ways of the Broad Street Bullies, and I don't know if I exactly agree with that, but Ristolainen's going to get you there if that's what you want.
If not the Broad Street Bullies, sort of like a hybrid version of it, where you have some hitting of components to it, and you have some toughness to it, but you have more offensive pop to you than normal. I think that because it's not even like back in the Legion of Doom days where you had Lindros, big guy, but he could also shoot and score and skate. You had Leclerc who could do the same thing. Renberg was a big guy and could move. That was different. Back then there were a lot of big bruisers, but they could move and they could skate and they could shoot. Doesn't seem like that happens nearly as often anymore as it used to back in the day.
No, that's very true. Little people know that Dave Schultz was a goal scorer. He lit them up in juniors. He changed his game, for the times, really, but that doesn't mean he couldn't put the biscuit in the basket. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. There are times you go over to a goalie and he said, hey, man, listen, I'm a sniper, so don't feel bad about it. Bryce saying, interesting trade, but I get it. And he also said, at least we're getting better. Yes, absolutely.
You got to say this defense is better now. You have to.
Absolutely.
I mean, we want to see Sanheim, sort of defeat that regression and get back on track. And I think that's definitely something that can be in the cards.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, I'm saying the price was steep, but the price of revamping the blue line was going to be. I expect Rasmus to set that physical presence early and often, and to put other players' head on a swivel, which Hart needs. Yes, I agree.
Too many people floating around his crease, man. Yeah, that's going to stop, and that's going to stop.
Yeah, got to clean the porch out in front of him. And DeMeo saying, "What's up? Voracek is finally gone." Yes, yes. Celebrations all around. Voracek is gone. He is going back home to the Columbus Blue Jackets after a long-awaited trade. In return, the Philadelphia Flyers acquired Cam Atkinson, who had a couple of down years, but is a phenomenal player and wore a A in the Columbus system. So I think he'll be fine. I think he'll have a rebound. I have no doubt about that. And I think that this will be more of an opportunity because Columbus really, last year they were in meltdown mode. So I really don't think last year was a reflection on him. I think it was a reflection on the entire team. I know I said the same thing about Ristolainen, but I think most people can agree Columbus didn't do so well last year and things weren't getting any better no matter what they did. And then on top of it, we all know Buffalo's a shit team. So I think both times you can agree that I don't think it's a complete reflection on the player.
Let me ask you a little quick question there, Hotshot.
Sure.
What do all these new additions to the Flyers have in common?
They're tough.
Well, yeah. They bring a toughness. You said it in regard to Cam Atkinson, and I want to point out for all of them, they were all had an A on their chest last season. Every single one of them. And it's really a reflection of where Chuck and and AV and where this organization had in terms of their definition of leadership in the locker room. And that's what I think that has been their modus operandi, if you will. And that's been improved as well.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think I know where you're getting at, though, with the comment. They all, Yandle, Atkinson, I think Ristolainen even had one. They were all wearing A's.
Yeah, yep. That's what I'm sorry, I might have cut out. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Ellis as well, assistant captain. Yeah, you know what I mean. So all bringing not only experience but experience within a leadership role, and that's just that extra little cherry on top.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And let me see what else we got going in here. We got Ryan Swoop chiming in. Do you guys think the Flyers can become a team that plays a forechecking / pressure style hockey Montreal / New York Islander play now? They play similar style like the old Broad Street Bullies, except for fighting / foolish penalties. It's possible. I think with the additions of more experienced players, helping the youth and kind of getting them a little bit more under control. And on top of that, having some defense that can maybe throw the body around a little bit more. I think it's now more possible than it was previously because I love a lot of the young players that we have in the system. Obviously, Travis Sanheim, great young kid, a ton of talent, and obviously Provi is Provi. We all love Provi, but they're still young. They're still learning. And in a lot of ways, I know that we have talked about how they've been here a while and stuff like that. But again, though, we saw that if Hart proved it, if anything, that's like these guys weren't handling that season very well. And the veteran leadership didn't exactly help it either. So I think that this will kind of calm them down, get ready for a full 82. They'll have the ability to practice more often. And I think that this is definitely one of those things where you can start to see the style that AV wanted can get blended in with a really strong style and a strong presence. I think that can happen now.
Oh, I agree, absolutely. And you got other guys that are waiting in the pipeline that, befit that, like I think of, Wisdom, certainly, he's going to bring in, that strong front, pressure, deep forechecking game, getting in front of the net. A guy that the Flyers chose to protect over JVR, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, definitely brings that forechecking game in a small body. It brings a lot of elements to the ice. So do I think they can? Yes, I think it's something that they're going to have to work on because, there's are players on this team that's not so much their game. Like more Kevin Hayes is more of a finesse type player. Konechny can be said about that as well. Farabee, I think, brings a little bit of both. I think he brings the finesse and he brings the forechecking ability. So I think Wade Allison showed a strong forecheck as well. So I think, I think they can get back. I think that they're, let me correct myself. They're going to need to get to that style if they're going to want to be successful when the Metro gets reformulated.
Absolutely, because as you're seeing the trend that's picking up, what are the teams that do the best? They're the teams that just keep putting constant pressure on. Montreal put constant pressure on Vegas. The Islanders put constant pressure on Tampa and damn near eliminated them. So, again, those are the kind of teams that you got to be careful of.
And speaking of Tampa, they won 2 cups doing it.
That's true. That is true. 2 in a row, too, which is pretty damn impressive, especially this day and age. Jesse saying, "Oh, shit." And then responds with, "What's up, dogs? What's up, Jesse?"
Yeah, coming to you on a new night tonight because NBA draft this Thursday. So, you can definitely tune in. All you bucketheads, you want to get your coverage, no better place than HDRadio.com. Check out the boys Thursday night. So we're on Tuesday, and it feels comfortable here on Tuesdays. Maybe we should talk about this a little more.
Maybe. We'll have to get Tom on the horn on that one. I think he'll be down for it. I think he will. All right, then. And let's see. And Ted FX, he's saying, what's up, Ted? Saying no salary retained in this deal. Yes, which is a huge plus on that Jake Voracek deal. We retained 0 of that salary. Thank you very much, Columbus. You've always been so...
All right.
Yeah, we've always been such good friends with Columbus. They've been so kind to us, although we've also been very kind to them. We kind of gave them Sergei Bobrovsky in the prime. Yeah. Although, to be fair, we did get Couturier off of them because they gave us their 8th overall pick with that Carter deal. So, and Carter was immediately put over to the Kings. So,
well, it was an interesting deal because Cam Atkinson was their Jake Voracek, a guy that was looking to get out of town and start fresh somewhere else. And you know what? I do want to apologize. I celebrate quite vociferously when the thought of Jake leaving and now him going. And that is a bit disrespectful to a guy that I've rooted for, that's been a good bloodline for this team, heartbeat for this team, and has given a lot for the orange and black. So that's a bit disrespectful for me. I do wish him well. It's just what he has become is a player that really isn't very good anymore, but he acts like he's the best hockey player that ever walked the earth. I don't like that. I don't like that attitude. I mean, as funny of a sound clip as it was, basically calling that reporter a weasel, right? And it was true, absolutely. And we're going to get to Brodo here in a second. He's got some breaking news on an NHL trade. But to wrap up my point here is that I still don't like the attitude. If you're playing well on the ice and you want to bring that attitude, that's good, man. Bring that edge, right? Can't do that when the team. It just goes to a guy that doesn't deal well with adversity. And in the end, I think the Flyers are a better team for him being no longer in town. Yeah.
So let us go to Mr. Ryan Brodo, who has some NHL going through for all of us. Although it is funny, you move to a Tuesday night, and we actually have an NHL trade. Brodo, what you got for us?
I have news.
Oh boy.
That God?
I think so.
It's me. It's me. Trades are happening. I can't do the bit for too long.
Yeah.
So this is via Emily Kaplan on Twitter.
Okay.
ESPN hockey reporter. She says, news! Tyler Johnson is headed to the Chicago Blackhawks. Tampa Bay traded Johnson in their 2023 second-round pick to Chicago in exchange for Brent Seabrook.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Huh. I think Priz has got to be a little happy with that. You're getting a fabulous player there in Johnson, and we knew that this is going to be part of the fire sale that Tampa Bay needs to have in order to lower that cap. So, kind of expected him to be on the move, either obviously in trade now, or I was surprised that the Kraken didn't select him, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, that's interesting. And bringing in Seabrook too, that's I guess that's going to be interesting to see why. if I were Tampa, I would have been more interested in picks, but Seabrook's a good player. He can help on that D line.
If I have any more news or details, I will share it with you.
All right then. Thank you, Mr. Brodo, for that update, because that is a big trade.
No problem.
Let's get your thoughts, Priz, when you come around on the big deal for your Chicago Blackhawks.
Absolutely. So, all right then. So Tyler Johnson to the Blackhawks and the Tampa Bay Lightning getting Brent Seabrook. Well, I guess Tampa has now secured their third cup run. No, I'm joking. Maybe Brent thinks they have.
That's there. Prism goes. Seabrook's retiring. He's going to be an LTIR contract. Got long term, like kind of a la Pronger. Got it. Yeah. So that doesn't have to go on the books for Tampa. So it's a total cap move. Yeah, I was going to say because I thought he was nearing the end.
Yeah, even if Seabrook did play, it would be like, well, he's not what he used to be. But at the same time, though, hey, if that's how it ends for him, it's kind of a shitty ending, though, for a really good defenseman. Brent Seabrook was a really good player and actually a really great player, to be honest with you. And, it's tough to see talent like that, like a Shea Weber or whatever, go on the LTIR, and that's kind of it. They're done. It's not really a cool way to see somebody go, but it is what it is, though. But, hey, Chicago, at least they were able to get Johnson out of it. So there you go. All right, then. So back to another Prism comment saying Yandle is going to help on the power play and play third-line minutes, but be a major locker room presence. I agree, and I think that'll do wonders for a young defensive core. We got Phil Tetsky saying, I am content with this reworked defensive core. Good mix of veteran leadership that will help the young players develop. I agree. And he also says he had too much heaped on him. I'm going to assume, do you mean he had too much heaped on him? Are you talking about Voracek? Because I could see maybe that possibly had something to do with him acting the way he acted. Or is it Chuck Fletcher got a lot heaped on him? I'm going to assume Voracek would be the one he was going for on that one. But Jesse's saying, asking me about the Rasmus trade is a HIPAA violation. Way too much, in my opinion, with his contract. Now, the response from John saying, hey, what's up, John? Saying, how did we overpay? Overpaid with the 13th pick in the draft who wouldn't play on this team for years. Rasmus was playing for everyone's top forwards every night. I love this move. So we have Jesse, who's not a big fan of the trade. John, who's a fan of it.
It's a polarizing one for sure.
It is. That's definitely. And now you know why. Now you definitely know why I brought this up because, like I said, this definitely put people at odds on the fan base side. Oh, Phil was saying Sanheim there. Okay, and I agree. Sanheim did have a lot put on him. Yeah. And Rasmus could say nay and walk next year. We gave up a lot on that. Honestly, though, I look at it this way. We're still a deep roster, and it's like, so what? If Rasmus walked away, plus also I don't think he will. Honestly, I don't. It'll be whatever. I think Rasmus will be fine. I think he'll be that stay-at-home defensive presence that you need. And, again, numbers-wise, I think it's a reflection more of Buffalo than him. And, again, Buffalo's probably not going to make that pick work out. Because Buffalo can't even make Jack Eichel work out. Actually, it's a testament to show you how talented Jack Eichel is for him to have great moments and for him to stand out on such a shitty ran Buffalo team. Tells you how much talent that kid has.
Let me make a little quick metaphor for Ristolainen. It's going to be like going from a vacation in Tallahassee, Florida, to Punta Cana, you know what I mean, Dominican Republic. It's gonna be like he died and went to heaven. A lot of people come to Philadelphia, they never leave. They stay within the organization even post retirement. I think you get a little taste of Philadelphia, you're gonna want to stay. But I get Jesse's point. That's why I said the price was heavy because of contract situations, not because of the player that you were getting. I'm fine with giving up a one for filling a need right now, but try to lock him up then, you know what I mean? Or to your point, Maddie, before or whatever, you could base the offer based on the level of production you get. You know what I mean? And maybe they'll be a little bit more willing to shed out a few more dollars because they know what they gave up, in order to get them. But I think it's an absolute win-win in my opinion. And I respect those that have the opposite opinion. That's what we're here to do. Agree to disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan saying, great goaltending is super important. A star goalie is crucial. But Flyers make their goaltending have to do more than they need to. I agree. Their all-around defense and pressure forecheck has been horrible. Yeah, last year it was brutal. The bubble playoffs, it wasn't very good. Hart had to be more than, Ron Hextall and Bernie Perron. He had to be Marty Brodeur, Patrick Waugh. He had to be Ken Dryden. He had to be everybody. In not only that series against Montreal, but the Islanders. And then he also had to be that way last year. And it broke the kid, unfortunately. And, that's always sad to see. But, again, though, that's the least of the Flyers' worries. He'll rebound. But what I think the main point of what Ryan's saying is that this is what the Flyers are improving. They need to get defensive pressure up. That's something that Ristolainen will bring. Defensive leadership on Keith Yandle and Ryan Ellis. That's going to help this team moving forward as well. And also offensively, which we'll talk about because Ted brings this up, the Flyers do have a solid offense. I mean, Hayes was playing hurt last year. I have my opinion on that. I think because he hurt the team more than he helped the team, he should have gotten surgery instead of sticking around. That's my personal opinion on the matter. I get it. Warrior and all. I appreciate him trying to do his best, but at the end of the day, if you're hurting a team, go get help and then come back stronger next year, and it'll be like you never left. That's my personal opinion on the matter, and I felt like he hurt the team more than he helped the team. But if Hayes is back to running normal from this past year after getting the core muscle surgery, then he'll be fine, and he contributed a lot his first year offensively, a ton. Konechny, I'm going to have a big hourglass on him because I'm really starting to lose my fucking patience with this kid. It's like, come on, Konechny. You're better than this. Pick it the fuck up. Let's go. This is a kid that's really starting to get on my fucking nerves. But we'll see. Superman, though, I ain't got no worries about Superman. Lawton's always got that home run goal in him. He's going to have another one. I'm fine with Lawton. And we still have Giroux. Yeah, Giroux may not be what he used to be. But at the same time, you have Farabee, who's a good goal scorer. He can be a great goal scorer, I think. He's just got to keep getting more of those opportunities. Wade Allison looks like he wants to get a goal every single time he's out on the ice. It's just, I think our offense will be fine. Atkinson will contribute heavily, which is why we traded Jake Voracek for him. It also was very good salary-wise as well. And Atkinson definitely helps the offense out there. And he's a sniper, which is very important to this team as well. So, again, I think our offense is fine. It's not as much the offense that worries me as it was the defense and the goaltending situation that worried me, because I was worried that Carter Hart was losing it. He was, because the defense was shit in front of him. So now that we're getting that taken care of, everything should fall back into place. Should be the key word. Not saying guarantee, because there are no guarantees in Philadelphia sports. But
no doubt about it. He still has some to prove, but he'll be in a better situation for it. This next coming year, Maddie's going to be another test for him, because with that Olympic break, I don't think it's fully ratified, but it may be actually. If I'm not mistaken, do you know about that? Whether they're going to get that.
Yes. They baked it into the schedule. So the 2 weeks in February are gone. So yeah, I think the Flyers have one game, and I think it's against Winnipeg, and I think it might be in Philly, and then the break happens, and then they come back from that. So yeah, that Olympic break has been officially put into the schedule.
Right. So what that means is, and I believe Fletcher said that the backup to Hart is going to, need to play like 25 to 30 games, regardless of does Hart make that rebound, right? Or if he continues to struggle, then maybe easily 30 to 35. So I think that's going to be the next step. That's going to be the next, trade signing that this team needs to do to really rectify that backup goaltending situation. I've heard Holtby's name flown out a lot today. I believe the Canucks bought him out of his contract, and there's been a lot of rumblings of him coming to Philadelphia, signing with Philadelphia. Hart and him are good friends. It would be a good situation in that regard. Me personally, I don't want no parts of Holtby. You take a player that just got bought out, right? Physically said, I'm not saying verbatim, but I'll paraphrase that he lost the mental sharpness in the middle of the net. That's who you want to bring in. You know what I mean? I have my questions about Holtby, who would now be going to third team from Washington around. I think there's better talent out there. I think a great name that not as many people are talking about that I think would be a great fit that just makes a lot of sense is Jonathan Bernier. He won the 2012 Stanley Cup while backup for the Kings when Dean Lombardi, who's now with the Flyers as a senior advisor, was LA's general manager. Bernier is still effective. He had a 914 save percentage last season with the lowly Red Wings. Sorry, Don, but it's true. And I just think he'd be a great mentor for Hart. While with LA, also inversely too, he worked with Kim Delabal, who's now the Flyers goalie coach. So there's a relationship there. I think that's the better fit. But there's some names out there, Maddie. I mean, you got Freddie Anderson, John Gibson. Philip Grubauer has been talked about. Halak is available as an unrestricted free agent. Aforementioned, Brandon Holtby. Darcy Kemper has been talked about as well in length. Old friend Peter Mrazek could be available. James Reiner, Linus Olmark. I'm just rattling them off because I'm reading this list. I'll be honest. Out of all those names, Darcy Kemper, and there have been ties, for Philadelphia, Brian, absolutely. So, Maddie, in your opinion, who do you want the Flyers to go for in terms of that backup goaltender signing?
It's interesting. You do have a good point with Holtby. Honestly, this is kind of funny, but I could totally see Vegas going after Holtby. Honestly, because they sent Fleury back into Chicago, and he may wind up retiring, honestly, and not even play a single day for the Blackhawks. But if that happens, I'm going to laugh my ass off because usually I'm not right about those. But I could totally see it, though. It wouldn't be out of the realm for Vegas to go and try to do that because I'm not sure if they trust Lanier completely as a complete starter. But as for other names, I do like Kemper. I mean, Kemper he's a good goalie. I think he's the kind of guy who could definitely hold down the fort. He played well in Arizona. It wasn't really his fault. The team was more at fault, if anything else, for how they ended up half the time. Injuries, too. Kemper, he did have a slight issue with that as well. He was no stranger to the injury bug. But in backup role, it's not the worst thing in the world. Bernier, neither. I mean, it's not a guy that I wouldn't mind having. There are options out there, but at the same time, too, Elliott isn't the worst guy in the world to bring back for one more year. It's only 1 year, honestly.
I didn't mention within that list, and he's certainly eligible to be signed as an unrestricted free agent as well, which all of them were. See, my point, Maddie, is that, I love Moose. He's an absolute warrior. But can he be counted on to play that 30 or more games at a high level? We didn't see that in this past season with Hart struggling. You saw it in flashes here and there, but I think that's why I would turn toward Bernier because I do think he could easily play 30 games and play him at a high level for this team.
True. Antame also saying Linus Olmark. Not a bad option either. Olmark isn't a bad goalie either. He played pretty well in Buffalo. Here's the thing. And Darkwing chiming in here saying, give me Felix Sandstrom. Here's the thing, though.
They might sign anybody. Exactly. That's the way they could go, too. They don't have to sign the backup.
True.
They got one in Felix, yeah.
Here's Jesse's thing. Hart, Sandstrom, Lyon. Lyon isn't a bad option either because I think Lyon has shown that he can play some decent games. Maybe not log a ton of games, but log a decent enough amount of games to where it's like, okay, you could take pressure off of somebody and throw Lyon in there if you have to. But I would say this. Benny's saying, what's up with Craig Anderson? I think is he still with Washington? Because he was third stringing for Washington, and he showed up in the playoffs last year, ironically. Got a playoff win, too. The only one for Washington, I think. Was it the only one? Yeah, I think that was the only one for – oh, Jesus. Anderson was the only one who really got that. Damn. If I was a Capitals fan, I'd be kind of pissed off about that. But anyway, Khudobin or Bishop. Bishop, he gets hurt, so I just see him being like a Michael Neuwirth situation. He'd get hurt going to the fucking bench like Neuwirth did the one time. But, he's saying, Ryan's saying he's too old.
Old. You're so old. You're too old. I don't even know what that means.
Martin Jones isn't the worst option out there. Jones had some good years with San Jose. Clearly, he's not a starter anymore. I think that he's proven that because, unfortunately, San Jose doesn't have the defense also to play in front of him. San Jose needs to fucking rebuild. I'm getting sick of their shit. But on top of that as well, Jones just logging a few games here and there. I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. He's not the worst goalie in the world either. But I would say I would pick other goalies over him. It's not. I think I've seen enough of Jones. I think honestly, I've seen enough games of him fucking up for the Sharks for me to want to go with him for the Flyers. But
I mean, you could get him on the cheap. That's the advantage. You're talking about another bought out player there, but nah. Martin Jones is not making me go 6 to midnight, but nor should a backup goaltender do that because then all of a sudden now you got a goalie controversy. I mean, you'd sign too good of a name. It's a delicate act. That's why the remedy might be just standing point. I'm just putting out the names out there. I mean, I would like to see Bernier come in as a veteran, just to have, I'm a little uncomfortable having 2 young players in between the pipes, but Felix is pretty solid. So I wouldn't be – it's not like I would be hating on that decision, Jesse. You know what I mean? I definitely give the kid an opportunity for sure.
Oh, I think Ryan was talking about Bernier because he said he allows too many easy goals.
It's fair
to
point.
be fair, though, Elliott did the same thing. So he's about – you're really – so then again, that kind of goes more to, well, then you might as well just sign Elliott back. Because it's like, well, what's the difference between him and Bernier then? It's like, well, Elliott also was guilty of letting in a few softies here and there, too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking a little bit of, no, Bernier's 32.
Now, Elliott, I think, is older than Bernier, if I stand correct on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be. That's what I'm just double checking. I mean, I don't want to, put my foot in my mouth. I'm, you're talking about 36 to 32 there. So, I mean, you're getting younger. So, in terms of having a more durable backup that can play you 25, 30 starts, that's the thing. And that's a name out there too, Ryan. Absolutely.
And Ryan saying, yeah, bring Mrazek back. He didn't do good when he was here the first time. Maybe this time, who knows? I mean, I didn't hate Mrazek. I didn't think Mrazek was too bad. I think, honestly, he just got a lot of shit thrown at him because the Flyers defense was playing like trash in front of him half the time. So, I think, yeah, because, I mean, think about it. Carolina's defense played pretty well in front of him, and he did fine there. So I think a little bit more of that's on the Flyers defense. I think he was a victim of that. Like so many other goaltenders in the carousel were, especially that year. That was the year that I think we had all that record set for the freaking 50 billion goaltenders. So, It
was. In that scenario, I prefer Felix. You know what I mean? Stick within the organization, but never. It's just like pitchers. You can never have enough goaltenders.
True, and Mrazek does get hurt. I'm not going to lie. Mrazek was no stranger to the injury bug either. Ryan.
My arm. It's broken.
Oh, God. All right, Mr. Berto, you had a couple of questions to ask for Flyers related.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, isn't this great music, by the way? It's phenomenal. I want to
Very loud.
I just want to be playing in the background for like the rest of my life. I don't know. Something about it.
You just pop into every show with that music in the background just to ask a random question. Doesn't even matter if it's related to the topic or not.
Oh yeah, and it could be like, or like something bad could happen. I could be coming into that. You know what I'm saying? Like to announce like a freaking injury, and I'm just coming in with that music.
It's Dirk Frodo.
That's
Question.
what it should be. Oh, yes.
Because once again, I'm asking for the sake of not only my sanity, but every person's sanity, at least in Philadelphia. It's a two-part. Number one, like you guys are talking about moves that they could make, like with the backup goalie and everything. Could we possibly see another splash before the season from the Flyers?
Yes.
I don't. You say yes. I don't think so because now you got it. Now they still have to re-sign Sanheim Hart, right? That hasn't been done yet. So that once you do that, I think it's gonna. I mean, trading. It depends on. Are you dishing salary? Are you taking on more? If you can keep it even, yeah. But a splash deal usually means taking on salary, in my definition. I could be wrong with that.
I'm not thinking so much as necessarily a big splash deal as more as I think a big splash signing in terms of we all know Hart's getting re-signed. I think people will be surprised at how much we sign him for and how long we sign him to. And the reason why I say it'll be a surprise because you're going to have the Flyers fans that are going to come out of the woodwork that are going to complain that we're paying him too much and that we're giving him too many years coming off of a bad season. I know we're going to get those fans. We're going to get someone who's going to do it. You know it. You know it's coming.
Because I asked this, right? And because I said this the last time you guys were on, and this was before all these other moves that were made over the weekend, right? It seems like, there were 3 additional moves that have been made since the last time you guys were on the air?
Yep.
So, Chuck Fletcher, unlike Howie Roseman at times, unlike... Well, I can't say Daryl Morey because he's made some splashes. Hopefully more splashes are coming. But especially unlike the Philadelphia Phillies, as of late, at least in recent years, they can change by Saturday. He came in here and he said, I'm going to make moves. I'm not screwing around. Like you said, Pove, earlier, I'm not settling for mediocrity. I want to win today.
Yeah.
And he's done that. Like, listen. Yeah. Are all these things going to pan out? I'm not sure. But at least he said, you know what? We saw last year that our defense was pitiful. We saw that Carter Hart was in no position to succeed. We've been trying to get rid of Jake Voracek for, it seems like, 10 years. I don't even know if he's been here for 10 years. But it's felt like that.
He has been here for 10 years. He was here for an
happy anniversary.
Time. Yeah. Because we got
gone.
him. Yeah, we got him in 20... Shit, did we really get him in 2012? Yeah, we got him in 2012, in the offseason of 2012 when we traded away Jeff Carter.
Like I said, Maddie, like I said, Pove, and I said to Daly also, I just want the choice to believe. I want to believe. And when I say that, I keep coming back to one name. And even if it's unrealistic, I ask you this. I ask you, can we get Patrick Laine?
I knew it was coming.
No, I don't want Patrick Laine. Actually, Patrick Laine, by the way, and this was going to be on my news and notes when we got to that, he's already signing. He actually signed Columbus's qualifying offer to him. I'm shocked he re-signed with Columbus. But he re-signed, accepting Columbus's qualifying offer for 1 year for $7.5 million.
What about Jack Eichel? I might join Jesse. since that one seems more possible now.
I'll put you this way: Eichel seems more possible now than Tarasenko does. I think Tarasenko is going to be staying put in St. Louis. That's another name that we've heard this offseason. That I don't perceive it to happen, Bruno, because I think you gotta. I mean, that's bold move, and you're going to be shaking up the organization. Is it necessarily a bad move? No, but I think you kind of now you put yourself you're switching places with the Sabres, where you don't have a lot of talent. You're not going to be left with as much talent around Jack Eichel as you would like. You have to sacrifice too much, so I don't think you're going to see it. That's just the more reasons why. But I don't know. I mean, Chuck has been already more active than I thought he would be, so I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no, but I don't think so.
And Prism, no, I have not lost faith. I'm back. I'm back on the wagon. I'm back.
You should
never
be.
left?
No,
Yeah.
I left for a week. I took a sabbatical. You know, I took.
You went on vacation after.
Yeah, I took a few.
Well, that's
You
okay.
went
You gotta
all
rest
hard.
the brain. You gotta decompress to deal with the pain that is Philadelphia sports. I get it.
Yeah, and I got distracted with the Sixers choking. Just choking and taking away my sanity. So I got a little distracted.
Did you take a break to watch the Olympics, to watch the USA shit on people and like gymnastics? Like you being a gymnast after all, and you know,
we're doing this. We're doing this. You want to bring back receipts? I have receipts, man. Damn it. No, I mean, listen. I'll get back to hockey in 20 seconds within. But I mean, when you bring up the Olympics, I'll tell you what's electric. I mean, the water polo. I mean, Team USA. We went over to Japan. W. Went over to China. W. I mean, who's next? Who wants some? Who wants it? I mean, you got our ringer is somebody named Madeline Muscleman. I mean, who's beating Muscleman?
Okay, that is. All right, I'm going to say this right now. I don't give a shit what sport it is. That is one of the greatest names, one of the top 10 greatest names in all time in sports, in history. Can't beat it.
So the last question I'll ask you before I disappear, and I go back to worrying about the Phillies breaking my heart tonight. Is this currently constructed a Stanley Cup contender?
I'm going to say no. I mean, the moves have put them back to where they can get back to where they were. It shored up some holes, but I think this team needs to come together to be a Stanley Cup contender, a playoff contender, 100%. I think these moves absolutely put them in a position where not only are you eligible for a wild card, but they could make a top 3 now with these moves. But for a Stanley Cup contender, nah, I need to see a change, a change in the core, which we're starting to see. But I mean, in terms of their play, you know what I mean, bringing in a stronger forecheck element to the game. The young pups will bring them to there, but they're going to need time to develop and gel. So that's just where my head's at, Maddie.
I'm going to go the total fucking opposite. I'm going to say yes. You want to know why? Because, goddamn it, Elevator Jesus needs to keep the goddamn faith. And on top of it as well, think about it. We were talking about last year, or 2 years back, may I mind you, that this team could get to the Eastern Conference Finals. We talked about that, how this team was making moves and was going to be competitive in the Metropolitan, the toughest division in hockey, and it still is. Yeah, Washington is definitely not what they used to be. Who knows what Pittsburgh's going to do? But you know what? God damn it. This team is making changes that it needs to make because it realized it wasn't perfect when they lost in the semis to the New York Islanders. They found out the hard way, and they found out even worse the following year. But you know what? Chuck Fletcher said changes are coming, and God damn it, he made changes happen. And you know what? I believe in that. I believe in the changes he's making to this team. We've seen what we need. We saw the to-do list, and God damn it, if I can't say he hasn't been checking off that to-do list since day fucking one of this offseason. So you know what? Hell fucking yeah. And you know what, Don? I don't give a flying fuck. Call me Homer Simpson all you want, because if anybody's accused of being a homer, it's you, bud. It's you. You think the Red Wings are cup champions in 2021. I know you're thinking it. So let me tell you right now, guys, I believe it. I fucking believe it. The Flyers are going to bounce back. We know they bounce back. They do it all the fucking time. But I think not only are they going to bounce back this year and be a strong presence in the Metro, I think as long as Fletcher keeps his nose to the grindstone, this team finally has a chance to break that fucking bullshit of in and out and be in 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, when finally the world can say the Flyers have arrived. I think we're on that road.
I'm saluting you, Maddie, with that answer because do I hope I'm wrong and you're right? Absolutely.
Maddie, it's always a pleasure. I thank you for your wisdom. I thank you for bringing me. I was already on board, but I'm back, baby. Water polo, I'm coming, bust.
And Don, all love, brother. I'm not ragging on you.
Kidding me? Love you guys, all you guys, man. You're here every show. Jesse, Don, Priz, Price, absolutely. We love you guys, man. We're gonna disagree, but we're family. It's like brothers fighting at the dinner table. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jesse saying Flyers' depth is good enough to win the Cup. I don't think the top 4 core is capable of. Hey, we've seen changes to that top 4. You saw Cam Atkinson. He's coming into the role now. Bye-bye goes Jake Voracek. Let's see how he does when he works with Sean Couturier and Claude Giroux. Let's take a look and let's see what Hayes can do. I believe Hayes can have a bounce-back year at the end of the day. Yes, he played hurt last year. And I told you guys, I said that was a problem because you should have gotten the surgery. I still believe that. I still believe that he can have a bounce-back year. He should have gotten the surgery last year. He chose not to, and that's why his game sucked. The only couple players I'm really interested in seeing, I want to see if Konechny can finally get his shit together. He needs to. Because like I said, he's the one who's pissing me off now. He's really getting under my fucking skin because it's like Konechny, for some fucking reason, doesn't want to be a top goal scorer. For some motherfucking reason, he doesn't want to be. And he's got all the skill to be. It's like, I hate that. I hate it when someone's blessed with God-given talent and they choose not to take advantage of it. It's like, God damn it, kid. Get it the fuck together. I know you're capable of this.
And I think you will. I think you will because him, much like Hart, will benefit now with the regular schedule, having that practice time in between the correct mistakes. I have no doubts. And I just think that Cam Atkinson's going to be a better fit for that top line to produce more goals because now you don't have a set of 3 playmakers where they're playing tiddlywinks, passing the puck to each other instead of shooting it on net. You have a clear playmaker, a clear forechecker, and a clear sniper. You know what I mean? That's the definition of a good number 1 line. Last time I checked.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, that is his job, but it's not. See, his job isn't to get under my skin. His job's to get under the other team's skin, goddammit. But I think he got his roles confused. Like, TK, your job is not to piss me off. Your job is to piss off the other team. Please do that for me. Can you? Can you, bud? I love you. Can you get your shit together, please?
Well done, Benny. Well done.
Well, yes, very well done. Jesse saying players like Scott Lawton, Farabee, Knack are Stanley Cup depth pieces. I agree. I think we had another 8 mil player in the league swap with JVR or someone else, and we could be cup contenders. And that's another big splash that could happen. JVR may possibly go. I'm not 100% sure because he had a good season last year, but at the same time, that may be the big splash that we're thinking about. Maybe they do a trade from JVR for somebody else just to get him off the books too. And also, it may be where we get some decent players back that maybe not Cam Atkinson level, but they make up the difference and at lower prices and be stronger on the depth down low.
Yeah, it's distinctly possible. Like I said, they may not be done. You know what I mean? Like, there's talent out there to be had. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion that, as much as I know Jesse has said that he's apprehensive about Tarasenko, that's a guy that I think you could, work out a deal for, still yet. I know it almost seems like I'm against trying to acquire Jack Eichel. I'm not. I fucking love him. Let's go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think you bring in like a player like that, then we're talking a cup contender. Couldn't agree with you more there. Right now, they're back. I feel, you got to see how the team comes together. It looks good on paper. Got to look good on the ice there too. But I feel this team can be a strong playoff team. They're built better for it now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think we got ourselves. Yo, Dark Wings here.
Yeah. What up?
Yo. I couldn't sit in here and listen anymore, man. I had to jump in.
I know.
You couldn't stay
I'm getting
away.
everything wrong. I'm going to take a smoke break. You correct everything I got wrong.
Let's see. Where do I start? Where do I start? What up? What up?
All right, so let's see here. Ryan Swoop saying, I want to see G, Hayes, and Farabee play on the same line. Everything G and Farabee have played together, they've done really well. Also can pass, and Hayes can pick his spots and make a very difficult goals. Nice.
I agree. I think that's going to be one of Farabee's big points where he improves next year. You already saw him improve in the shooting aspect. Put up, 20 goals? I think in a full season, full 82, you see Farabee take another step forward. I think you see him get 25, maybe 30. And I think Giroux's going to pay the benefit of that.
Yeah, I agree. Berto also says you waited till he left.
No, not true, because I tried to get on while he was still on. I just got stuck. I timed it poorly.
And Chris saying, still need balls, tired again, being a variant. That's why you bring in a guy like Ristolainen. That's why you bring in experienced players. That's why you bring in guys with that who can kind of get that ante up and say, you know what? Let's take it to these motherfuckers. That's why you make these moves.
Yeah, Risto, he's going to be your physical guy. Yandle's going to be a physical guy. Ryan Ellis is another guy who's going to play with a little bit more of an edge. So, do you need to probably get one or two on the forward lines? Maybe. But, this team is making improvements. And it's not going to – I completely disagree. I don't think they're a cup contender. So, to Brodo's question earlier, they are not even close yet. Still got a little ways to go. I don't think they're far off, but not quite there. But I think they definitely need to find a guy who's going to play with a little bit of grit, which I think you already have. I mean – Albe Kubel's already shown that he'll get in the dirty areas and he'll play with a little bit of grit. Same with Lawton. These guys aren't afraid to get into the dirty areas and dig in the corners and, play a little rough. You see some of these other teams, look at how good Vegas is. But Vegas has a guy like Ryan Reeves. What have they gotten from him? What have they gotten because of him? Not much. You need skill in this league to play. Skill and speed is what is winning cups right now. Look at Tampa. I mean, you can make the argument for Patrick Maroon, but everybody makes a big deal out of him because he's won back-to-back cups. Cool, but what has he actually done for this team? What did he actually do to really make his presence known? He had, maybe 3 goals in the playoffs? His physical presence, yeah, I get that. But in that same breath, what has he actually done? If you look at the roster top to bottom, Yanni Gord, not on the team anymore, made an impact. Braden Point, speed skill guy. Stamkos, speed skill guy. You got Kucherov, speed skill guy. Speed and skill kills in this league. It's not the 1980s. It's not the 1990s anymore.
I would disagree, though, with Lil Hava here. The Flyers have speed and skill. There are players who have it. That's why we had to go get a guy like Ristolainen, because we didn't have the toughness. That's why we had to go get him.
Have the speed or skill. I'm saying that they don't need enforcers anymore. They don't need guys like Ryan Reeves. They don't need guys like Tom Wilson. They become liabilities at some point. You need guys who are going to protect each other. Absolutely. You just brought in 3 guys that will do that. Cam Atkinson will back up his players. He's not going to drop the gloves, but he'll stand up for his boys.
Ryan Swoop thought that they were talking about him. No, it was Brodo. It was Brian's ducking him because Brian don't want that SJP level of smoke that Brodo got for
him. One thing I'll quickly add in real quick before we get back to your point, Brian, to the commenter. They addressed that a little bit in this entry draft with what picks they did have, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the second-round pick, the right winger they took out of Finland was he's got some speed and skill. He's got a pretty tremendous shot, and he could be a guy who can make some noise at the NHL level if he develops the way they expect him to. Yeah.
And Ryan also said there was a rumor the Flyers were trading TK for Sam Reinhart before he got traded to the Panthers. Now, if the Sabres wound up giving us both Reinhart and Ristolainen, it'd be like, wow, the Sabres really are just fire sale prices right now for everyone. And I mean, actually, honestly, it definitely was for Reinhart because they gave him up for practically nothing. Practically. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
just let me real quick, man. Let me throw my 2 cents in on this Ristolainen deal.
Sure, go right ahead.
Please.
I'm on the fence because I like the deal. I'm not exactly thrilled about what they gave up, and I saw John's point earlier, and he brings up a valid point. You know, what did they really get at 13 that was like wow? Like wow, we can't pass up on this guy. Outside of the top 10, which there were a couple guys in the top 10 where I'm just kind of like, okay. Like Jason McTavish going to Anaheim at 3. A little bit of a reach. Tyler Boucher going at 10. It's a bit of a reach.
Well,
you know, outside of those picks, like there was really nobody that's like, wow, like I need that guy.
To be fair, though, I think that was going to happen anyway because of the shortened seasons with a lot of the junior leagues and everything, you know, limited scouting. It was going to be tough this year. It's probably tougher to pick this particular year in the draft than pretty much any other year you could think of because of just all the pandemic shit and everything like that, having that limited scouting and what have you. I think it definitely hurt a lot of the early reports, I think, a lot of times from the scouts.
But do I think this is the worst trade in Flyers history? Not even close. Not even close. I mean, you guys know where I stand on Eric Lindros. I think giving up Peter Forsberg for Eric Lindros was a bad deal. And listen, I give Lindros a respect for his game. One of the best, if not the best, power forward to ever play.
Did it result in a cup, Brian?
Huh?
Did it result in a cup, Brian? Then it was a bad trade in the long run because Forsberg got a couple and Lindros did not, much like every captain has since Bobby Clark. So when people give shit to Drew, remember that there's a lot of captains that think.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to give shit to Drew for wearing a C. Okay. Pronger never won one. Jason Smith never won one. Eric Desjardins never won one. Eric Lindros never won one. Who else wore the C that I'm blanking on right now?
Pretty much.
Mike never won one with the Flyers.
Yeah.
Like, come on, be smarter than that. Stop using that cop-out excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame Drew.
Who blames
Bobby
Drew?
just did the tie back. You know, I mean, there were other successful, a lot more worse trades in this organization. The one that comes to my mind right away is Paul Coffey, an aging Paul Coffey at the time.
That was around that Eric Lindros era, too.
Oh, that's a good one, John.
Justin Williams.
For Danny Markov. That's a great one.
That might be
we traded Mr. Game 7. Yeah, we traded Mr. Game 7 away when he was young and up and coming. And I do believe he also threw out Patrick Sharp when we traded him away as well when he was young and up and coming. We had a lot of guys. We had Dennis Seidenberg. We traded him away, too. You know, we had a
trade. Like, who the hell? Matt Walker?
Yeah, we didn't get anybody for
Matt Walker going into that trade.
Yeah.
What did he do? Nothing.
I know. And Gagne was a major part of the Flyers offense for several years.
And he was a major part in the success that Tampa Bay had as well.
Yes, absolutely. Benny's saying the Patrick Sharp.
I mean, like, I disagree. I disagree with this poll. And a lot of it also has to do with the fact that he hasn't played yet, too. So let's see what he does in the first few months of the season to see if we can justify whether or not this was a bad trade or not.
Yeah.
I gave up a little too much than I wanted. Yeah. But there's still a whole season to play. There's still full 82 games to play. So let's see how he does.
To tie into your point, Brian, earlier in the show, what I said was regardless of what he does, right, one thing you can count on is him leveling out people and clearing that porch in front of the net, which this team needs. So already that's successful in my eyes, regardless of the stats in terms of delegating how successful a trade it was, you know, based on his activity. But I mean, you got to think it's going to be a little better than the situation in Buffalo.
Oh, no, and I absolutely agree. And you know, you bring him in not for his offensive numbers, which were not good last year. Some of his defensive numbers could have been better. But you also have to realize it's Buffalo. Like, There's nothing good about Buffalo right now. Think about all the big name players that went to Buffalo. Where are they now? Jeff Skinner, Kyle Oposo, Jack Eichel isn't Jack Eichel right now. So like to that point, like let's see what he does in a fresh new location.
I think John hit the nail on the head. That was a very fucking bad deal. JVR in his prime, by the way, because he had some great years in Toronto. Was a big contributor of them getting into the playoffs, and then we got Luke Shen. Wonderful, brilliant fucking deal.
25, 30 goal seasons for JVR in Toronto.
Ooh, this is a good one too. Vinny Prospel and Pat Falloon for Alexander Daig. Yeah, that's a bad one. I don't know why the Flyers went and got Daig. Everybody who had Daig, he failed in Ottawa. I think he was in Ottawa when we traded for him, and then we traded him away to some expansion team, and he failed there too. So
he was drafted by Ottawa. He was drafted number 1 overall, and did not live up to any of the hype.
Nope,
even when
not one.
He was god awful.
Yeah, I think he only played
plus in NHL history.
Yeah, he earned it. He earned that reward there. But all right, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the draft from the Flyers. Get their draft picks here and see what the Flyers wound up picking here. So Flyers obviously did not.
Into that, Maddie, I'm gonna jump out. I just wanted to jump in for a couple minutes. Talk some puck with you guys. I need to get to bed. I didn't sleep well last night. As you can tell, I'm a little congested. So
Gotcha.
I'm trying to get some sleep tonight. I didn't fall asleep until like 5:30 last night.
Ooh, yeah, I got you, dude.
Up at 8 to go to work too.
Well, yeah, you definitely get some sleep, brother, and we'll see you next week.
Where you coming? Where you coming to us from, man? Right now, are you still in Jersey or are you down in NC?
No, man, I'm still in Jersey. I'm here until Saturday.
Gotcha.
I leave Saturday morning, and then I'll head down to Raleigh and start my new adventure. So I'm excited. I should definitely
safe travels, man.
Yeah, safe travels. Good luck with that.
I'll talk to you guys from North Carolina next week.
All right, peace, brother.
See you, boys. See you guys.
All right. So, as he had stated, the Archangel, Brian Dales, or as we like to call him, the Dark Wing, coming in. And now we've got our draft picks, possibly future Flyers here for Philadelphia. Let's take a look. We have second round. Obviously, the Flyers are not picking the first, as we've alluded to with this Ristolainen deal. I think we've alluded to it a little bit. And the second round pick from the Flyers was Samu Taumala from Finland. He was 46th overall, right winger out of the Carpet under-20 system. He had 30 games played. He had 15 goals, 16 assists with 31 points. From Brent Flair, the Flyers vice president / assistant general manager, he said, we kind of thought he would probably go at the end of the first or somewhere in the 20s, and he fell. A real talented winger, great speed and real dynamic speed. He loves to shoot the puck and score goals. Talented kid. He's going to take a little time to get stronger and put on a little weight, but a talented kid that has real good offensive upside.
No doubt about it. And he addressed that need that we alluded to before, adding some more speed to this team, build upon the young talent that we have now for the future. Because that is what he's just a very strong skater from what I've seen from some small tape that I have on him. A good thing, Matty, too, is he works real well in transition, which has been a big problem area for this team. Shorthanded within there. So have you a guy that can really turn the tables and tilt the ice towards your opposition without giving up those glaring turnovers. It's a good shot, and I feel it's a good, second round pick for this Philadelphia Flyers team.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that one. I think he's definitely going to be an interesting player to look out for. So keep your eyes on him. But I will say this, Samu Tuomala, does that not sound like that should be coming out of like Samoa or like the Fiji Islands or something? I feel like that should be an Eagles draft pick for like the line or something. Yeah.
Dude, this is why we're friends, man, because that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, did we just draft an Eagles offensive lineman here?
Yeah, I was thinking the
complete
same
opposite of what he is,
Yeah, I was thinking like Samuto. Okay, interesting. Well, hey, best of luck to him. All right, third round, Alexi Kolosov out of Belarus, 78th overall goaltender, playing from Dynamo Minsk. Games played, he had 9, goals against average of .269, and a save percentage of .911. He played more with Dynamo's minor league affiliate, or I guess they would have more of an under-20 league. But he, from what Brent Flair said, he's got to play a lot in the KHL as a young goalie, which is a rarity, and not only play, but play well, and saw a lot of shots in tough situations. He's a talented guy, very athletic, a guy our goalie guys are confident they can mold into an NHL goalie. Good thing this is a quote, because if this was him writing, boy, his grammar needs some work. But as an editor, I'm sure you are just ready to just like, oh God, this needs to be just. You're losing
I can't take the misuse of commas and the 2 spaces between sentences. People that use 2 spaces between sentences need to rot in hell. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So Alexi Kolosov, goaltender out of Belarus. By the way, he's the second ever Belarusian goaltender. Guess who the first one was? Ustimenko, our other goaltender who's in the system. So we have history made 2 times in drafting.
they're doubling up there. They're doubling up for sure. That's immediately what I thought. Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully a future goaltender that we could see down the line play for the Phantoms and maybe the Flyers. Who knows? We'll see as he continues to grow.
I wasn't too hot on this pick, Matty. I think he's a little small. I'm concerned about his shots from distance. I mean, that can certainly be improved upon. He's a young player. And lastly, and we had this with the other draft pick as well. KHL goaltenders, they get a tendency to stay there for a while. You know what I mean? And then you have issues. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, it's a questionable call, but I think this was an example of maybe who they determined was best player available at the time.
Yeah, I think so. Prisoner of terrible commas and punctuation. Jesse, Pope, some of us got to get those page counts on college papers somehow. 2 spaces all day. Oh, well said, Jesse. Oh, my God. That's funny. All right, so let's see here what we got next on the Flyers draft. All right, so we go to the 4th round. Brian Zanetti from Switzerland, 110th overall, defenseman playing for Lugano under-20 team. Games played, they had 41. He had 9 goals, 20 assists for 29 points. Not bad for a defenseman on that. And he was a plus 13. Joachim Grunberg, who was a Flyers amateur scout, saying, raw kid, we see him down the road as a D-man with size and mobility, and he can be a good defender and help you with the puck. So size and mobility is always a good thing. You want to, those are rare. When you can find size and mobility, if this kid turns out to be a snag, that could mean we could have a big kid who can actually be physical and could also play strong in the offensive zone, being a 2-way defenseman. Not common to find those.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I mean, it could be a very sneaky pick here in the 4th round. 6'2". I mean, he's a big boy, and being a strong skater, it's a great combination, as you point out. He's also a pretty clean passer, and he was able to kick up the scoring a bit last season. The big questions that are how will the offensive game translate to this level, as well as his puck handling skills. But I mean, that's certainly things that he can work on developmental. So I like the pick there. It's a good pick.
Yeah. Chris Dunn saying, I think Detroit's killing it this offseason. We should have traded for that goalie in Carolina. Nedeljkovic? That would have been an interesting path to take.
I mean, I like the kid. I'm not disagreeing with him necessarily. I think we have that talent in the system already in Felix, but the Nedeljkovic, he was starting in the playoffs. I mean, it's not to shake a stick at.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, then, on to the 5th round. 5th round for us, Ty Murchison from the United States of America. 100. Oh, and by the way, Katie Ledecky, silver, and I believe they said a gold in her. One of our commenters said that. Congratulations to her. I know she was big-time player for the United States and Team USA. So, U.S., keep on dominating the Summer Olympics, baby. That's what we like to hear. All right, Ty Murchison saying the United States, 158th overall, defenseman playing for the U.S. National Development Team in the juniors, and he has got 23 games played, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. Saying good size, very good mobility, plays an aggressive style. He's going to have to probably learn to tone things down a little bit as far as picking his spots, when to be aggressive. Oh, okay, that's interesting. But a kid that comes to but a kid that comes to play and plays hard and brings an aggressive nature, which is great. So maybe he's a bit of a Wade Allison type. That sort of junkyard mentality that we're talking about, that sense of like he really is overly aggressive. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. Flyers need some aggressive goal scorers in the world. And you know what? If they can find a healthy balance with this kid, I mean, on the defensive side of it, that could be actually a very interesting addition to the blue line. If we have the strong defensive stay-at-home style and not too many offensive defensemen, that may actually benefit us, especially in special teams.
Yeah, an equal counterpart to Wade on the D-line. I think this pick was purely a pick as like an insurance for Zanetti. Okay, Zanetti doesn't work out because Ty is a bit of the same player. He skates well for his size. He can execute really good, clean passes. He's shown good transition ability at the junior level. His defensive instincts are generally good. Like you said, when to turn it on and off is a question, as you pointed out. But the physicality game, you know what I mean? And then you're seeing an overall trend within the draft and the off-season movement as a whole. Yeah,
absolutely. Jesse saying JVR.
Different philosophies that you're seeing now, as you're really getting into the firm Chuck Fletcher tenure from the previous administration. You know what I mean? That was really more keen on those offensive defensemen.
Yeah. And I think because of two different motivations, Hexie wanting to revamp the defense and revamp the team. And then, Fletcher trying to interchange and put things together so that we can officially make that run for the cup. That's what I think we're seeing here from Fletcher. Jesse saying JVR, Konechny, and a first for Eichel. Fleece those Sabres.
In a heartbeat. And I love JVR and Konechny, maybe more than a fat kid loves candy. But if you get Jack Eichel, I don't even care you're giving up the first because Eichel's still young enough to be that more along the pipeline first round draft pick anyhow. And you're giving up an aging player and a player that has question marks, to be fair. So yeah, that would be, that soft woolen fleece job. You know what I mean? Just ease in. You don't even see us coming, and then bam! We got Eichel from you, motherfucker.
Oh, perfect. Oh, Jesse saying big draft for USA Hockey, top 5 in the draft. Yeah, that USA Hockey, man, it's coming a long way. I mean, there was back in the day where you would see maybe a few really great players come out of the U.S. to now, man, it's right up there with Canada, really. Number 2, obviously, in North America, maybe number 2 in the world in terms of developing young talent, maybe behind Finland or possibly Sweden. Those are the only other countries that I see really developing top-tier talent consistently. And you do get those really good stars that do come out of Russia occasionally, but sometimes they're hit or miss. The Russians have become more of a hit or miss kind of ball game out there. Ever since Ovechkin, I feel like it's been that way. There have been great ones, but ever since Ovechkin, I feel like everybody's been trying to be the next Ovechkin, and it hasn't always worked out in the end of the day. All right, but let's see here. But Wild, you should definitely re-sign Kaprizov. But 6th round, Ethan Sampson. Now, this is one that I believe, yes, Ryan Swoop has been saying Ethan Sampson, their 6th round pick, was a steal. Let's take a look as to why Ryan is saying that. Ethan Sampson out of Canada, 174th overall defenseman out of Prince George for playing from the Prince George Cougars. Games played 22. He has 1 goal and 11 assists for 12 points. And he's got some room to develop from what Mark Gregg, Flyers amateur scout, was saying. Right-hand shot, and for a D-man, it's always an asset as we find them harder to find. Now, I think he's got a lot of development left. He's going to play on a good team in Prince George, and for a good coach. He's got upside. So, interesting. Interesting choice.
Good physical game, good motor. His defensive positioning and anticipation is what really stood out for him. Or has stood out for him so far. Just about how it's going to translate it. A boy playing amongst men now. You know what I mean? It's a different game. So we'll see how it goes. But you said it though. I mean, a lot of crafty. You could see an obvious draft plan here, and it was executed to their specifications. Absolutely.
I think they've been drafting well. I haven't really been looking at a lot of the draft picks and been saying, these guys are kind of weak. I know there were one or two last year we were thinking maybe they're not as good, but this year it's been not that bad.
Yeah, defensive heavy, but then you made sure you got your forward with your first pick of the draft, second round, as we talked about, they traded away the first round pick, and then you got yourself a goalie. I think, like I said, that was a little bit of a question mark for me, and then move on to the center iceman in round 7. So, I mean, the defenseman's good because you brought in some aging guys. You want to back that up now. It's just smart business now that you want to get some youngsters to match.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you lost the youth of Hogg, you lost the youth of Philip Myers. You know what I mean? So I could see why that was their draft plan.
And, of course, also Nolan Patrick, who we were hoping would turn out to be something. Turns out, no. Figures. But
oh, no, for sure. No, that's a truity. I was speaking purely defenseman for this row of 3 that they drafted. But, no, your point's still valid, Matty, because, so that's why you saw them going with the Swede in the second round there, the right winger. You know what I mean? The guy that can bring speed, maybe, that scoring ability that you were hoping to get out of Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see here. 7th round, Owen McLaughlin from the United States, 206 overall. Center from Mount St. Charles, which is high school. Game played, 33, 16 goals, 38 assists, 54 points. That's a 7th round pick. But then again, it's high school, so let's taper that a little bit. Talented kid at the high school level. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit longer path. Yeah. But a highly skilled kid at the level. Brent Flair saying that from the Flyers' perspective. So, I mean, Jay O'Brien was another kid we took from high school, which I would like to see in training camp this year. Hopefully, maybe fight for possibly getting some opportunities on that 4th or 3rd line this year. I'd like to see that. And if he shows some ability, then you know what? I'd like to see this kid follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, and it could be very well be. It's just, it's going to be a long time coming. Basically, you're going to see him play with Sioux City in the USHL before heading to Penn State. So he's going to get some college hockey experience, before, entering the professional level. So this is a long-term plan. I think it's a good move. I think the coolest thing about it is that it's somewhat local. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's going to Penn State, but he played in Spring City, I believe, is where his high school is. Which, not exactly local to Philly, but I mean close enough. You know what I mean? So, that's a potential double positive whammy where you can bring in a local kid that could make good and really be a fan favorite. So I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Ryan Swoop saying, "I'm weird. I like my centers to be my pass first playmakers who look to set up the wings. I like my wings to be my shoot first pure goal scorers," and continued. So when we keep talking about the Flyers acquiring offensive assets, we need high scoring shot first wingers, not first playmaking centers. I understand that, and I think the Flyers are guilty of doing a little too much playmaking, not enough goal scoring, and I do agree. Which is why I think when you look at players like the 2nd round here, where you see a player like a Samu, I think he's a guy who's going to be more of a goal scorer, and that's definitely a step in the right direction where you're kind of focusing a little bit more on that. And even going all the way to the 7th round, Owen, if he keeps up the offensive play and he can transition that into college, because he is committed to going to Arizona State, I believe that's where he's heading to. If he can play offensively there and then transition that to the NHL, that's another young offensive kid. It's very late. It's a very late pick. So, again, tapering expectations. I'm not saying that he's going to be Ethan Sampson. Maybe he's an offensive style defenseman who might be a goal scorer from the blue line. That could be very, very interesting because you don't see too many of them. Alluding to that old Paul Coffey reference you made, he was very much an offensive defenseman back in his heyday. Definitely not with the Flyers, but with with the Oilers and with the Penguins, he definitely was. So you could definitely see a lot of the Flyers looking for a more goal-scoring flair here. I think we're seeing that. I mean, hell, Brian Zanetti, the same thing too. A lot of on that offensive marker here from these kids and their defense on that side of it. So I think we're seeing that from this team on the drafting side of things.
Agreed.
And let's see here. Ted saying, coming to Prism saying Nate Schmidt trades the Jets for a 22 third-round pick. Interesting.
Updates for Priz.
Unfortunately,
theme music, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brodo is not here for the theme music. But oh well, it is what it is. We'll figure out theme music for Prism someday. Priz, feel free to throw out any non-copyright music. I'm going to emphasize that you want us to throw out there for you. Ted saying, coming in late, how improved do you guys think we are compared to last season? I'll even throw the bubble season in there. I think we're very much improved compared to where we were. I think that the changes that Fletcher's making, they were definitely glaring issues that the Flyers had, and he's definitely making changes to fix this team. He definitely wants to continue to emphasize the youth, but he understands that there needs to be experience, and there also needs to be a stay-at-home play that isn't there, and physical presence that isn't there. He definitely is addressing those issues. And offensively, switching out Voracek for Atkinson, I don't think that was a bad deal at all. We'll see if he makes any more trades moving forward, and maybe he sends JVR packing or TK or what have you. We'll see. But yes, I think we're very much improved.
Yeah, I can't say anything more than that, Maddie. I think it's been tremendous so far. I think maybe one more forward. I mean, you took care of your defense now, so I don't think there's any point in making a move for Ryan Suter. I think that would just be an overkill at this point, and he's moved on for some other suitors at this juncture. One of them being, who was it I read? Dallas Stars. That'd be a good fit now for Ryan Suter actually to go to help him out with their defensive pairings. As much as I don't want to say it, I think a good addition, a cheap addition, Zach Parise. I think you got to add that. That'll add a little bit more depth for your second and third lines. A guy that a guy that can be fed the puck to score from the playmakers that have on this team. Just add a little bit more depth of scoring there. But it's been good. I don't think they're quite done yet. But also too, you got to factor in how many games did we get from Morgan Frost last season? Not very many. He's going to be fully healthy now. You know what I mean? And that's a guy that can light the lamp. So I'm very excited. I think based on these moves already, even if there's no more made, which I do think there will be, but even if there aren't, I think their prospectuses are very much up, Teddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-oh, bad news. Kristen saying the USA blows it again. What the fuck is happening this Olympics? Is that with the gymnastics side of things or what? Because I know that was a big thing for the United States going into this year.
Might be talking about softball. They might be talking from her earlier today, potentially. But I don't know what's going on now. Obviously, I'm not in the living room, so
gotcha.
to get this. But I'm a huge Olympic nut, so I haven't been able to watch as much as I hoped for so far in these games. But what's cool is that I just found that there's an app for them on my BIOS, so I can catch up real quick.
Nice. Yeah, I got into the NBC Sports app, so I've been trying to watch as much of it as possible. I watched I was watching fencing, which I actually was enjoying. I found fencing interesting, a gentleman's sport, as you would say. On guard. And but Ted was saying 8 years, $7 million. Avs captain returns to Landeskog, officially a part of the Colorado Avalanche once again. I mean, I figured that Landeskog was going to stick around. It should have been straightforward on that one. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the Avs, no-brainer, signing him, very well-earned contract. I mean, if the Avs don't win a cup soon, I will be absolutely fucking stunned.
Real quick, you don't even have to. You can put it up. You cannot. But Rosca, you're 1,000% correct. And I love the comment that you dropped here. Just take a quick aside from the hockey. She is the greatest women gymnast. She's getting a lot of heat right now because of dropping out of the team competition. Basically having some blocking issues, which can be very dangerous for a gymnast. It's where your body just your mind just shuts down your body mid-time. And a lot of times you're landing on the back of your neck and it's just a dangerous situation. She's getting a lot of heat for that. I think it was the mature thing to do. She didn't want to jeopardize. If she wasn't performing, she took herself out to give her team the best chance, and she still has the ability to do some individuals. It's not like she dropped. She's still there in Tokyo, coaching the team, being there, being available. But the heat that this young woman has gotten is so unfounded throughout all media. It's absolutely disgusting. I think it was a mature thing to do.
No, I think so too. And also on top of that as well, if anybody is ripping on her, you do realize she was sexually molested by that doctor who just got sentenced, right? Does anybody?
Yeah,
they made a whole big part of that over the broadcast a couple days ago and talked about that. So it could have something to do with that. Maybe.
It's something I thought. Also these people giving her heat, in terms of, like having mental issues. Yeah, let's see how you would be if you were sexually abused as a teenager. Yeah, so, I mean, I wasn't going to go there, Maddie, but you're right. You are absolutely right there. I think it's more of a situation, and I think all these athletes are seeing it. We've already seen it from professional sports, and now the Olympic athletes are seeing it. There's no fans in the stands there. They're playing in the coronavirus world that our professional sports here in America were playing in. And look, we saw how affected Carter Hart, and several other athletes or whatever. Don't throw, keep those stones in your pocket. You know what I mean? Especially during these times, because, they've even said during the broadcast for the little gymnastics that I have watched that it's a totally different atmosphere. I don't know if you've ever watched them, Maddie. They get loud, and there's lots of fan support. And in these things, you can hear a pin drop. That's got to be different. That's got to change the psyche a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotcha. And let's see here. Jesse saying, I would suck at fencing. I would be full-on double hand swinging the sword like a Viking. John saying, how important was it for Chuck Fletcher to recognize the player landscape and be aggressive early rather than wait for the market to open up? I think it was a very smart idea to do it because, you know what? Get out there, go for it early, because you never know. If you wait for the market to open up, something better may come along for another GM, and then there goes your deal. You had it in the bag, gone, because other teams came up with something better at the end of the day.
Yeah, patience proves prudent. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, let's take a look at some other big things that were happening here. So we talked about the draft picks from the Flyers. Obviously, we talked about the trades. Rasmus Ristolainen from the Flyers, going to the Flyers. Buffalo Sabres in return getting Robert Haig. 2021 14th overall pick, which was Isaac Rosen. We'll talk more. We'll go through that lineup in just a moment. And a 2022 second-round pick, though it was one of the trades. The other trade that happened in between the shows, obviously, Jake Voracek going to Columbus in exchange for Cam Atkinson. And then the signings that happened, Keith Yandle, 1 year, $900,000. Apparently a no-trade clause, which is weird. Well, it's like, why would you have a no-trade clause on a 1 year contract? I mean, I guess because trade deadline, but I'm thinking like, why. That was reported. I don't know if that's 110% fact. It just sounds weird to me, don't you think?
A little weird.
Yeah.
A little weird.
But, yeah. And then, interesting to note for you, Rob, you'd be happy to hear this. Sam Moran, 1 year, $750,000. He is back on a Flyers roster next year. So hopefully kid can prove that he belongs here on the team and have a little bit more of a defensive role. That's another kid we forgot to bring up. He's another one who can have some physical presence, and this time as a forward because they transitioned him to the wing. So he can do that.
Well, yeah, but they brought him back on D pair. He's a defenseman. I think that experiment proved futile. But that's cool because, I mean, that's where he belongs, is back on the D, and that's where he showed his best play this season and was rewarded. Maddie, if you didn't bring it up, you knew I was going to bring it up eventually. Didn't want to let the cat out of the bag before and save it for the end. That's what they do in the business, in the wrestling business and in the hockey business. We don't go in the middle. We don't go in the beginning. We're going to do this at the end of the show. You know what I mean? No. But Sam Moran, good for him. I think what's interesting here is that now you're pairing these type of players together, right? Like to where, you have Ristolainen now in tow and Sam Moran being that same type of player. Now you can spread that out and have, that balance with your offensive defenseman. Or even if Sam Moran is filling that seventh defenseman off the bench or up in the box, not dressed as a healthy scratch, it's good depth, and it's such a good story for all that he's been through health wise. Rewarded, not handsomely, but it was good, good team friendly deal, and just overall, I'm very happy to hear about it.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much the Flyers off season so far that has happened in between the shows since last Thursday when we were on. Jimmy Rodweller, what's up, Jimmy? Saying, what's up, fellas? Disagree to the poll. Ristolainen was a great pickup for us. We needed to address the softness of this team, and this guy is definitely not soft. Yeah, definitely. And John, I'm not, you did say Mike Hoffman. That wouldn't be a bad addition on the depth. Sanheim and Hart, they're going to get their RFA deals. I'm going to say Sanheim probably gets, I'm going to say he gets a 3-year deal. I'm going to say Hart, I think we're probably going to wind up signing him to maybe a longer one, probably maybe a 7-year deal or something like that. I think we're going to give him a big boy contract.
You think so? Really? Coming off? Yeah, I mean, I hope so, and they should. They should be realistic of what they are playing through. But, yeah, you keep them on course. I love it. I support it. How can I not, man? I want my son to get paid.
Of course. I think they'll show the confidence in him. I think that's what it'll do. If not, at least it'll be 5. I think 5 will be the minimal. All right, then. Trades, signings, let's take a look here around the NHL. Let's also take a look at the draft real quick on the first round. Get through this around the NHL. So first round of the NHL entry draft were as follows. Number 1 overall, Owen Power going to the Sabres from the Michigan Wolverines. Number 2 was Matty Bernier from the United States, Seattle Kraken, Michigan Wolverine product as well. Then Mason McTavish from the Anaheim Ducks. Brian alluded to him earlier, from Canada, playing for the EHC Alton team in Swiss League. Luke Hughes, defenseman, who is related to the rest of the Hughes, playing for the New Jersey Devils, of course, from the United States under the U.S. development team. Kent Johnson was number 5 from Canada, taken by the Blue Jackets from Michigan. Michigan had a great year this year and getting these top draft picks. Number 6, Simon Edvinsson from Sweden, going to the Detroit Red Wings from Frölunda HC. William Eklund as well, taken at number 7 from Sweden. San Jose Sharks getting that left winger from Deer Gardens. Hopefully he pans out for the Sharks. Brant Clark at number 8, the Los Angeles Kings with Nav Zampke, who he played for in the Slovak Extraliga out of Canada. So that's interesting that he was playing in Europe and he's from Canada. That's interesting. Number 9, Dylan Gunther, right winger from the Arizona Coyotes, selecting him. That was in the trade for Vancouver. We'll talk about that in a quick second. Canada, Edmonton Oil Kings was where he was playing from. And then at number 10, Tyler Boucher from the United States, getting selected by Ottawa from the U.S. development team. Number 11 was not picked. That was the forfeited pick from Arizona due to those early combines and workouts they were not supposed to do. Number 12, Cole Sillinger from Canada, picked from Columbus. That was in the trade from Chicago, and he was playing for the Sioux Falls Stampede. Number 13, Matthew Coronado from the United States of the Calgary Flames. The Chicago Steel was the team he was playing for. The trade from the Flyers, like we said before, Isaac Rosen at number 14, taken out of Sweden by Buffalo, playing for Lake San Saif. Number 15, Sebastian Cossa, goaltender out of Canada, who was picked from the Detroit Red Wings in a deal from Dallas, playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings. And number 16, Brennan Othman, who was taken by the New York Rangers from Canada, playing for EHC Alton in the Swiss League. And number 17, Zachary Baldick from Canada, playing for the St. Louis Blues, taken out of Rimouski Oceanic in the QMJHL, the same one that Crosby came from. And number 18, Chaz Lucius, coming from the United States. Great name, by the way. Picked from the Winnipeg Jets, taken from the U.S. National Development Team. And number 19, Fedor Svechkov, taken from Russia. Nashville Predators organization selected him out of HC Lada Togliatti out of the VHL. And number 20, Jesper Wallstedt out of Sweden, taken from the Minnesota Wild from a trade from the Edmonton Oilers, playing for Luleå. 21, Fabian Lysel, great name as well, taken from Sweden, in Boston from that organization, playing for the Luleå HF. Number 22, Xavier Bergault, out of Canada, taken by the Edmonton Oilers in a swap from the Minnesota Wild. That's where those trade came from, playing for the Shawinigan Cataracts. And number 23, Wyatt Johnson, out of Canada, taken by the Dallas Stars. Perfect name for that team. Played for the Windsor Spitfires. And then number 24, Maki Smashkovich, or Samoskovich. I wish it was Smashkovich. That'll probably be his nickname.
It will be, yeah. I was going to say.
He comes out of the United States, playing for the Florida Panthers, or he could be, and he played for the Chicago Steel. 25, Corson Kuhlmans, who comes from Canada, taken by the Columbus Blue Jackets in a trade from Toronto, played for the Brooks Bandits. Number 26, Carson Lambos, defenseman out of Canada, taken by the Minnesota Wild in exchange from a Pittsburgh trade. And Winnipeg Ice was the team he played for. At number 27, Zachary Leroux, playing for the Nashville Predators, or hopefully will be, in a trade from the Carolina Hurricanes, taken from the Halifax Mooseheads. And number 28, Oscar Olsson, Sweden, Colorado Avalanche, taking him, playing for HV71. Number 29, Chase Stillman from Canada, taken from the New Jersey Devils in a trade from the New York Islanders, played for Easburg Energy U20. And number 30, Zach Dean, Canada, taken by the Vegas Golden Knights from the Gatineau Olympiques. And at number 31, Logan Malou, defenseman out of Canada, taken by the Montreal Canadiens. How fitting, a French name for a French team. Played for SK Lyon. And the final player, number 32, Nolan Allen from Canada, taken by the Chicago Blackhawks in a trade. They got this from the Tampa Bay Lightning, played for the Prince Albert Raiders. So that was the first round of picks from this year's draft.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting day one.
It was, man. Lots of interesting players, lots of crazy moments. It's interesting. Definitely a lot of players that a lot of people are. Don saying Costa my heart, and Prism saying he's going to be a good brother. And Jesse say player named Boucher from USA Hockey. Hey, Brian Boucher was American, so there you go. So yeah, lots of interesting players taken from the first round. Should be interesting to see how they fit into the NHL dynamic. So, on to finishing up around the league here. Take a look at the NHL trades and signings, and then that will be it. We will sign off for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, trades starting off. St. Louis Blues, Pavel Buchnevich coming to the Blues. He is also officially signed with that team as well. And I believe his contract is 4 years, $5.8 million per year. So a $23.2 million contract with the St. Louis Blues. So That's a big, big get for the Blues there, getting younger. I think that'll definitely be a good situation for there. In exchange, not a lot to the Rangers. Sammy Blah and a 2022 second-round pick went the other way to the New York Rangers.
Yeah, it's a pick move, by the Rangers. They, I was surprised. That was, Buchnevich has been a big part of what they're doing there in New York. The trade did shock me a little bit, but yeah, St. Louis gets a good player there in Buchnevich.
Yeah, absolutely. And next up on the trades, we have some ones that were swapped in the draft. Colorado got Curtis McDermott. Seattle Kraken traded him for a 2023 fourth-round pick. So already gone is Curtis McDermott. He was a Kraken for 5 minutes. Golden Knights, by the way, get Mikhail Hakkarainen in exchange for Marc-Andre Fleury to the Blackhawks, who might retire. So we'll see if that does come to fruition. Jets get Brendan Dillon. In exchange, Washington gets a 2022 second-round pick and a 2023 second-round pick. Interesting move seeing Brendan Dillon go to the Jets. Good move for them, I think. Dillon's a really good player. Interesting move for the Caps, getting some draft capital here. On to the Florida Panthers, 2023 seventh-round pick going to them. In exchange, Arizona Coyotes get Anton Strawman. For the New Jersey Devils, they get Christian Jaros. In exchange, the San Jose Sharks get Nicholas Merkley. Jaros, by the way, did sign. It was for his rights, and he signed for a short-term contract. Nothing crazy from the New Jersey Devils on that one. So just a quick little throw out there that, yes, that trade was not a complete waste of time for the New Jersey Devils. For the Minnesota Wild, a 2021 fourth-round pick, Josh Peller, who was taken in this year's draft, exchanged for the Canadians, a 2021 fifth-round pick for Joshua Waugh, and a 2021 seventh-round pick, which was Joe Verbetic, with an interesting spelling to the name. Canadians, another 2020 fourth-round pick, which was later traded to Tampa. They got from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay got a fourth-round pick in exchange, and they got Dylan Duke with that, which is an awesome name. Carolina Hurricanes, 2021 fifth-round pick, originally belonging to LA. They got Robert Orr with that, and a sixth-round pick from Bryce Montgomery is who they picked with that. Ottawa got a fourth-round pick out of that for Carson Latimer is the guy they chose on that one. Red Wings got a fourth-round pick that they got Redmond Savage with, and they also got a fifth-round pick, and that was Oscar Plandowski from Vegas. Vegas got a fourth-rounder in return for Jakob Demek. Vegas seemed to be really in love with the fourth-rounders. Carolina got a 2022 third-round pick. Chicago got a 2021 third-round pick. They took Tage Harding with that one. Calgary, 2021 third-round pick, Cameron Wynett, and a sixth-round pick, Jake Beck. They got that in a trade. Los Angeles got a third-round pick, which was Kyrell Kyrasonov. Anaheim, 2021 third-round pick, Tyson Hinds. And in exchange, a 2022 third-round pick going to Montreal. Florida gets Sam Reinhart. In exchange, Buffalo selling off getting Devin Levy and a 2022 first-round pick. Not a lot for Sam Reinhart. I know we're wrapping up here, just going down the list here. Rob, quick thoughts on that. What did you think about that?
I think that it was just at a point where they tried with Sam, and it was just time to, cut loose, cut bait. He never really fulfilled the promise of his draft, where he was drafted as. And I think, there's been flashes there, and I think in a new setting, you could see this could be very good for Sam Reinhart. So I'm excited to see what he does for the Florida Panthers.
I think Prism put it very much in perspective here. Draft picks going to be prime capital and flat cap era, where cheaper contracts to payroll and more than likely won't play for years. The ones that do get called up will be cheaper than free agents. Right. Yeah, I agree for that one. All right, then. Continuing down the line, New York Rangers got a third-round pick. Ryder Korchuk came out of that one. Washington got a third-round pick as well from that trade, and they got Brent Johnson and a sixth-round pick in Drew Cribbs. Carolina got a 2021 third-round pick, Patrick Hamerla, and a fifth-round pick as well for Justin Robidas. Nashville got traded a third-round pick in exchange for that, which was Anton Olsen. San Jose getting a third-round pick for Benjamin Gaudreau. Hope he pans out. And a sixth round from Theo Jacobson. Or I'm going to assume Jakobsen since he's from Sweden. And St. Louis in return got a third-round pick for Simon Robertson. And the Carolina Hurricanes getting a 2021 third-round pick that was later traded. They also got a fourth-round pick from Jackson Blake. The Los Angeles Kings in exchange got a 2021 second-round pick, Samuel Hellenius. I like that name. Very Greek name. Like it.
That shit is hilarious.
There we go. Perfect. All right, here. Kings, 2021 second-round pick, Francisco Pinelli. Pinelli. And Ottawa getting a 2020 second-round pick, Benjamin Roger. And a 2021 fifth-round pick that was later traded. The Red Wings getting a pick from the Devils, Shea Byam. Gold Knights getting a 2021 second-round pick in Daniel Chaika and a 2021 fourth-round pick in Jakub Brabenec.
Jakob. That's a hockey name.
Yeah, depth move here made Kings, Braden Burke, and Tyler Steinberger going to them. And the Coyotes getting Cole Hertz and Bokandi Imama. I am not joking. That is the guy's name. It is spelled Bokondjiemama. I swear to God.
I love the diversity that we're seeing in the game. We talked about before, Flyers, their second round pick sounded like a Samoan name, you know what I mean? Not like the days from Sweden, but still the diversity here is great.
Absolutely. Yep. And our last batch of trades here. Detroit Red Wings, 2021 15th overall pick, Sebastian Cossa. That came to them. In exchange, Dallas got the 2021 23rd overall pick that was originally Washington's, which became Wyatt Johnson. Also got a second-round pick out of that, Artyom Grushnikov, and a fifth-round pick, Jack Barr. All those straightforward name right at the very end, Jack Barr. I don't know.
Like a good private.
Go ahead, Rob.
Sounds like a good private eye name.
Yeah. Blue Jackets getting Jake Bean. In exchange, the Carolina Hurricanes get a 2021 second-round pick that became Alexi Himusalmi.
You saw me do it.
Yeah, perfect. Let's see here.
Do it.
Blackhawks, here's the big one. Seth Jones and the 32nd overall pick in the 2021 draft, which was originally Tampa's. Nolan Allen got picked with that. And a 2022 sixth-round pick. In exchange, the Blue Jackets get Adam Bachfist, who did get officially signed to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I'm trying to see. I think I had his contract here somewhere. Oh well. Of course, I lost it now. Anyway, moving on. Seth Jones also, by the way, did sign with the Blackhawks. 8 years, $76 million is his contract. Whew, that's a big price on him. No wonder the Flyers passed on this. But on top of that, Blue Jackets also got a second-round pick that was later traded. And they also got a 2021 first-rounder that became Cole Sillinger. So that was the big trade right there. Rob, what did you think of that one?
Not a bad deal. I think it works out for both sides there, for certain.
Absolutely. All right now, and our final trade that happened in between shows, we have the Canucks. This is the big one that happened. Everyone's saying that they got fleeced. Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland, who signed an extension for a 5-year, $4.95 million per year, $24.75 million contract with the Vancouver Canucks. In exchange, the Coyotes get Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, Antoine Roussel, and a 2022 second-round pick and a 2023 seventh and a 9th overall pick in this year's draft, which became Dylan Guenther. That was what it took. Remember when I said it was going to take a trade of OEL to get Arizona back in the first round. That's what got him back in the first round.
Immediately thought of you. It was like Maddie called that, man. He absolutely called that.
I was thinking it would have to. I would have been shocked if otherwise.
Yeah.
But so that's it for the trades. Quick rundown of the signings, and then we're good. I know, trying to get through them quickly, but a lot happened on draft day.
It did. You started with Obi before, and that's going to be really interesting because there was some rumblings that he might have went back to the KHL, and it looks like now he'll finish his long storied career in the NHL and have a shot at Gretzky's goal mark. So,
I got you.
So, yeah, that it sort of solidifies it now. Now we'll see if Brian is correct. See if he can catch the great one.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I didn't know this, Chris. If this is true, I will take back what I said. So that's if it's true.
No comment.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Signings. Let's see here. Braden Holtby bought out by the Canucks. Honestly, I'm not surprised it happened. He wasn't playing well in Vancouver, so it was going to happen at this point. I'm surprised it took a little while for them to get to it. But let's see here some depth plays. Dakota Merme staying in Minnesota 2 years, $1.5 million. Kyle Raw, Minnesota 1 year, $750,000. Not a lot. Paul Stastny staying with the Winnipeg Jets 1 year, $3.75 million. Not a bad move for the Jets. I mean, Stastny may not be what he used to be, but depth can't hurt. Nick Wolf staying in Boston 1 year, $750,000. You have to if you got a name like that. You have to keep that guy. Sam Bennett, Florida Panthers, 4 years, $17.7 million. That's a good move for the Florida Panthers. Bennett's a really great player. Good move for them.
Immediately thought that. I was like, that's a tremendous signing.
On to Lucas Carlson, Florida Panthers, 1 year, $750,000. And another of Noah Jolson, same exact deal. So they're making some depth moves too. Here it is. Christian Jaros, New Jersey Devils, 1 year, $800,000. So definitely a depth move with the trade, seeing what this kid's got. Frederick Allard, Nashville Predators, 1 year, $750,000. Mark Stahl, Detroit Red Wings, 1 year, $2 million. Not a bad move. Mark Stahl played well for the Red Wings. He wanted to stay, and he stayed.
I was going to say, so he's staying with Detroit. I mean, that goes to show that that's all it would have took to get Mark Stahl. We talked about him in the past, as an option. I think they went with better options, And he worked on Dougie Hamilton.
I didn't see him come up on the free agency signings. I heard the Devils are a front runner for him, though. So, boy, I hope that doesn't come true. But I heard rumblings he might be possible on that front runner position for the Devils. Spencer Smallman getting re-signed by the Hurricanes, 1 year, $750,000. Trevor Moore on the Los Angeles Kings getting 2 years, $3.75 million. BB was here. He could give us a little bit more background on that. Big one. Cale Makar, Colorado Avalanche, 6 years, $54 million. Just like Landeskog just recently, kind of has to happen at this point, honestly. All right, then. Kasper Bjorkvist for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 1 year, $750,000. Only move I've seen from the Penguins so far. Nathan Walker, St. Louis Blues, 2 years, $1.5 million. I like Walker. I think that was a smart move on their part, keep him around. Joel Armia re-signing with the Montreal Canadiens, 4-year contract. I like Armia. Tough, hard-nosed, good depth player. I think it was worth the re-signing. And by the way, Tony DeAngelo signed to a 1-year contract by the Carolina Hurricanes. Interesting move considering the fact that a lot of controversy surrounding him. So, interesting situation there. And you know what? In all my rush to get this done, I missed the notes on the Ovechkin deal. I actually did. Damn it. Oh, well, what are you going to do? But he is re-signed to the Capitals. We do know that much.
Yeah, you actually said it before. It was 5-year, $47.5 million.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Rob. See,
Got a lot on your plate. I'm here to support you.
whew, but that's it. That was it for what happening in the free agent signings and what happened in the trades. So thank you guys for bearing with me on that one. There were a lot of depth moves during the trades.
You all supported this man in his OCD completion issues. Good job. People.
Yes.
Way to feed in. Yeah. It's great. The people don't want to go. We're going to give it to them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like whatchamacallit? I want to scroll back really quick. The Jimmy Rodweller goes, any snipers out there that the Flyers can snag that would fit their salary?
Well, John was throwing out Hoffman that you might be able to get for $4 million. I'm not against that. I'm not against going after Hoffman if we can land him for a cheap price. Sure, I go get Mike Hoffman.
Yep, agreed. I was going to say that would be a good way to recap what we talked about earlier in the show. One name I threw out there too, you might not like it, Jimmy, but Zach Parise.
Yeah.
But we'll get into some more free agent talk in upcoming shows. Definitely have Nick Rodriguez on, talk some free agency for sure.
Awesome. That'll be awesome to talk about him next week. And, guys, we thank you for joining us. And yes, Ted, it would suck if Dougie heads to the Devils. But you know what? A young team with a lot of cap space, they can afford those kind of luxuries, unfortunately. Hopefully he just gets fooled by Buffalo and he goes there. I highly doubt that.
Bobby Ryan's a good name too, but I thought that he re-signed, didn't he?
I didn't see if he re-signed because I was keeping track of what happened in between shows. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I would have to look that up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It's happened before.
Thanks, Prism. Always appreciate it, brother. Jimmy's saying he would like Parise. So, hey, man, if we could pull it off, that'd be nice. Thanks, Jesse. And he really wants that Eichel thing to happen. He is blowing smoke. He really, really wants it.
I fully support you, Jesse. Let's get it done, baby. Let's get it done. I'm fine with it. You know what I mean? Blow up this core. No.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm in between.
Yeah, I got you. Jimmy's saying great show. Thanks, Jimmy. We thank you guys. We thank you for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. It was fun as always. It was not fun for me towards the end, but I got through it. Hey, listen, you put the work in on that research, you're going to fucking make it come out on the show, goddammit. You're not just going to waste 3 hours of your day.
You've become me. I fucking love it. You've become me and I become you. It's great. We metamorphosize here.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's not often, but sometimes you got to do a little bit of the notes because we keep getting more and more fan bases here on A2D coming in. Got to give them all the love there and let them know what their team's doing.
Gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah. Well, we thank you all for joining us. And let me go through our sponsors here before we sign off officially for the night. For anyone out there who's struggling with a mental issue or any kind of addictions, listen, man, the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox, if you need the help, call 856-651-8117. Listen, guys, it is really, really bad to see someone going through that and to go through that yourself. Don't waste time. Don't let it bring your life into a tailspin. Get the help you need as soon as possible. Counseling Center, Sunrise Detox, 856-651-8117. Let them help you. And All Campus OC, they're giving 20% off of everything in the store, including hats, shirts, and team cornhole sets from them for all the subscribers. So get subscribed, ladies and gentlemen. And they also have plenty of great stuff for your favorite teams out there. Wear your team colors with pride with All Campus. John Coyle, awesome guy. Support him out there, folks. And by the way, speaking of getting subscribed, A2D memberships, $9.99 per month. Perks include appearances on shows, members-only streams, shout-outs, weekly sports picks on the Money Pot podcast. Those guys know what the hell they're talking about. You will definitely make a nice little killing on the side. You got your day job, and you got your gambling side, and you always win with those guys. That's the guys you want to go to. So $9.99. Get that membership up. All right. And yeah. And if you want to support A2D and you want to support this show and all the other great shows that we got here, because we have plenty of great stuff, Philly Drinkers, A2D, that's where you can go. They've got cups, they've got mugs, they've got shorts, they've got everything your heart could desire, A2D stuff, and they're always coming out with new t-shirt designs. You can have this nice little guy right here, if I can get it to appropriately show. The Hockey Happy Hour shirt that we got here. Rob's got the orange one as well. So plenty of different versions for you guys to choose from. All of that for you guys. PhillyDrinkers.com. That's where you want to go. Like I said before, specialized physical therapy. Get yourself taken care of. Burlington, Cherry Hill. Make an appointment at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Dr. Paul Vidal, the man. And also, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, Alan Foy, eXp Realty at 302-682-8820, or visit him on the web at alan.foy@exprealty.com. If you're looking to buy, sell a home, or change career or brokerage, that's the one to go to. And we have a brand new sponsor here, Ocean City Grilled Cheese and Quesadilla Company, located on the corner of 8th and Ocean Ave. 16 different kinds of grilled cheese on toasty Texas sourdough bread. And you can use the promo code A2D for 10% off. And you can also get a special offer with the A2D code from Manscaped, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull up the new official read that we have for them. Manscaped, you get 20% off with the A2D code. And also, they're throwing in a couple of little additions for you guys. They also threw in 2 free gifts in their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so definitely something to look after. Hey, we all got sheds. We all like to travel. And also, hey, we all wear boxers, right? I think. I don't want to know if not. But at the end of the day, you're wearing them boxers, man. They'll make you feel nice and comfy. And also, Manscaped will make you feel confident because the ladies love confidence. Brian will say it. I'll say it here since he's not here. Junk funk, get rid of it. Don't allow it to affect your performance or your life.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, no, I think it's the bottom line is that, you know, you got the Olympics going on. You know, the Euros recently ended. You got baseball in full flavor. What's all common with them? They're all in. You know what's not in? And that's wild and hairy pubes. So, Manscaped.com, they have all the products that you need. Take care of yourself. A2D, 20% off. And, you know, Maddie spelled out the package there. I'll take the boxers. Me personally, I like going commando, baby. That's too TMI. All right, I gotta go. See ya. Final sponsor as he put himself into the penalty box. Rob may have just he's the first one to call a penalty on himself. So 2 minutes to myself for corniness.
And a TMI on top of it, right? All right, so while he serves out that 2-minute minor, Body Check Wellness, promo code A2D, 20% off, 40% off when Riley Cote, the man who created it, does it. Listen, guys, Tarasenko, yeah, I think he's going to be with the Blues. Just to give you that real quick answer there, Ted. But listen, guys, we thank you for joining us. Body Check Wellness, Focus and Clarity, that's what they're there for. Promo code A2D, get you 20% off. We thank you for joining us for another run through here into the wild, crazy, wacky world of hockey in the offseason. And it's only going to get wackier because free agency is starting up real soon, ladies and gents. This week it's actually starting up. So get ready on the 27th. A lot of shit's going to go down. Hopefully it'll be good stuff for the Flyers.
I was going to say, Maddie, we're 19 minutes into free agency.
Yeah.
It has begun.
It has begun. Oh, yeah. So we thank you all for joining us. Keep track of free agency as it goes along later today. We thank you all for joining us. And listen, guys, we'll see you next week right here on A2DRadio.com next Thursday. Peace and love, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next time.